I shape it a little differently for different courses, but generally what it means is that I want to give students an opportunity to see the accumulation of work that they've done over the semester, because a lot of times they don't understand, they don't appreciate how much they've done, and I want to make sure that they see that and that they know that I'm going to see that too. Another thing is that it's really difficult for students to see any kind of progress in their writing within a single semester in any course. And I think it's really difficult for faculty to see too. And so a portfolio gives you an opportunity to kind of look at the student's writing over time. Usually the way I do it is I assign the portfolio at the beginning of the semester. I'll have a check-in point. I usually stagger them so that I'm not reviewing all of the portfolios at once. We just keep kind of a running list in class of the things that should be in the portfolio. And I think that helps students to be kind of attentive to not just what's happening in the moment, but thinking ahead a little bit of how am I going to represent this in the portfolio? How is this going to be included? But there's kind of two different portfolios. There's the portfolio of work over the semester, which is more like kind of an investment portfolio. For good, bad, or ill, it's everything. And then the portfolio that they turn in at the end is a distillation of that cumulative portfolio where they're pulling out their best work and then doing some reflective and review work of their best pieces at the end of the semester. To be very honest, at least part of it was the paper load. Assigning students 4 and 5 papers a semester in a class with 25 students is a significant amount of reading and grading. And I thought it was more important that they do the work than they necessarily be graded on everything that they did. So I wanted to give them an opportunity I wanted them to still write regularly and frequently because we know practice helps them to develop. But I also wanted to step out of that kind of production line kind of thinking because it gave me more chances to give students what I would consider, and I hope they consider too, meaningful feedback. So if I broke it up over the semester, I could give better feedback and I could target that feedback to individuals better because I didn't have a stack of 25 portfolios to get through within just a couple of days. I think it's really satisfying for students. I think they feel like they've really accomplished something when they can look at that portfolio and see how much work they've done. I really like that, when I'm using portfolios, I generally don't grade things during the semester, grade individual papers, unless the students ask me to do that. And most of them do. And I think that's smart because, it gives them a chance to see how I respond and it gives me a chance to see kind of what things they're working on. So it helps me to kind of focus my teaching and it helps them to kind of focus their work. I like that if it puts students in a position to be more agentive in their work because they'll say, hey, it's almost midterm and I don't have any grades yet. How do I know how I'm doing? And, I say, well, let's have a conference. Let's look over your work. Let's see what you think. Let's see what I think. And, we'll come to some evaluation of that. And sometimes they just want to know out of the habit of getting grades regularly. I think there's value in them getting some information along the way. But really, it's up to them if they want to do that or not. And, for the students who want that, they pursue it. And for the students who are less concerned, they don't. And so, they really, again, it's creating a situation where they have choices. And they have to make choices. They have to make decisions. It's not me telling them necessarily everything that they have to do. It's me saying to them, look, I'm happy to provide you with as much information as you want, but you have to initiate that. And I think that really empowers them. I think that makes them better students. I think it makes them more likely to ask other professors and other classes for feedback and for information when they need it and want it. Well, I think there are two big challenges with portfolios. One is keeping track of all of the pieces that need to be in the portfolio. There are times when I have something planned for class for a particular reading or a particular assignment, and in my design and in my experience, it seems like a great idea, but when I get to class and start moving the students through it, it doesn't work as well, so I have to change it up. And if I don't keep really deliberate records about exactly what I did and what the students should have in their portfolios as a result, it gets a little fuzzy. Particularly for the students who are very detail oriented, that's really challenging. I think the other challenge with portfolios is the grading. It makes students very, very nervous to not have grades on a regular basis. Not nervous enough to necessarily volunteer pieces of writing for me to grade and respond to on some kind of regular basis, but I think they worry that there's going to be some big surprise at the end, and that has happened, but I'm surprised when the students are surprised, because if there's a problem, or if there's something that's not happening that should, or something that is happening that shouldn't, I'm pretty forthright about taking students aside and saying, hey, I'm really concerned about how much you're missing class. And it's attendance, yes, but it's also about all of the in-class work that we're doing that you're missing as well. And then the student gets to the end of the semester and gets a poor grade because of all of the absences and missing work. And there have been a couple of times when students have said, well, I don't understand that grade. On the 2 papers I turned in, I got B's. It's like, well, but there were 4 papers assigned, and you were graded on the completeness of your portfolio as well, and on attendance and class participation. So, you couldn't look at just those 2 items and make make an unbiased or an evidence-supported argument, I guess. I think the most important thing is that it gives us a view of the student's work over time. There's a whole body of research out there that says you really shouldn't expect to see dramatic changes in students' writing within an individual semester, and oftentimes not even within a single academic year. Because they've been working on this for 13 years, at least 13 years by the time we see them here at the college level, and those practices develop slowly, and they develop incrementally, and so I think it creates an opportunity for that bigger view. And if I'm going to grade a student on the quality of his or her writing, my feeling is it has to be not just what does this one piece look like, and how well does this particular piece meet the requirements of that assignment, but it needs to be how far has the student come over the semester as well. I want that development to be encouraged and supported, and I think the portfolios help them to think about it that way a little bit more.